Hey everybody, welcome to 21 Alive Plus. We are live with our reporter Corinne Brock. It's Sawyer Osmond here in our 21 Alive Plus studio, and Corinne is outside of the Allen County Courthouse as uh, Jamard Lewis, with the deadly Kroger stabbing back in 2023, was just sentenced today. And Corinne has all of the information. She's been in the courtroom this morning. Corinne, can you fill us in on just the latest and what happened inside of the courtroom?
Sentence for murder in the state of Indiana today, 65 years in prison. He was very stoic in court today, wasn't showing a whole lot of emotion while they had folks speaking. His mother spoke. There were family members of the victim, Perla Nieto, that spoke. He just remained very stoic throughout the entire process. And Judge Gohl even mentioned that he really did not have a lot of reaction to it. Specifically, whenever she was sentencing him, she brought up a comment that he made while the trial was going on. He testified on his own behalf and said that he stabbed her, the victim, enough times for it to not matter. And the judge brought that up when she was sentencing him. She described him as the worst of the worst that she's seen in her almost 35 years on the bench. So it was a very emotional hearing today. Family members talking about what they miss about Perla Nieto, talking about who she was as a person. They had family there, they had friends, they had coworkers there in support for her family. So it's just a very emotional day in the courtroom.
And Corinne, yeah, you've been here all morning. I know this has been kind of a long-awaited thing this happened back in 2023. Can you kind of just share a little bit of the backstory, maybe what was brought up from that day, that tragic day for Perla Nieto and, her family when the news was received that this deadly stabbing had just occurred?
Yes. So we heard from her daughter, her oldest child. She was talking about how she was the very first one that got called out to that Kroger on December 7th, 2023. She was arrived pretty much as soon as emergency personnel were responding. And she saw her mother there after she had been stabbed. There was some testimony during the trial that it sounds like she likely would have died almost immediately due to the extent of her injuries. During the trial, they showed video of what happened. They showed Mr. Lewis walking into the Kroger about 35 minutes before he had left after getting into an argument with Perla and some other employees there at the store over a misunderstanding. He thought he had heard his name over the loudspeaker in the store. So he'd gotten into an argument, left, he changed his clothes, he came back to the store and was caught on those store security cameras, fatally stabbing Perla. So all of that was caught on camera. That was all presented to the jury that ultimately led to their guilty verdict. But that is kind of the background there on what happened.
And Corinne, as you were in the courtroom, kind of talk about maybe the energy that you may have picked up from just seeing Jamard Lewis in the courtroom today, hearing more about his sentencing.
Yeah, his attorney talked about his history of mental health issues. It was something that the judge did not take into consideration a whole lot in her decision to sentence him to the maximum sentence allowable. But they did discuss that he was evaluated and that he has antisocial personality. They discussed a condition that I don't want to speak too much on because I didn't quite catch the exact name, but with narcissistic qualities. And he was very stoic throughout the entire hearing. His mother got up and spoke on his behalf. He just stayed very flat, no effect. He was just really quiet the entire time. Whenever it came his time to speak, the judge gave him the opportunity to speak. All he did was thank her for something that she did during the trial. So he didn't acknowledge the family. The family did talk about how after the trial, the defendant's younger brother came up to Perla's husband and apologized on behalf of their family. And there was, after the sentencing, whenever we were out in the hallway in the courthouse, another member of the family or somebody with Jamard Lewis's family did come up and apologize to them and just said that she was very sorry for their loss and what they were going through. But
Wow.
ultimately, he really had no reaction today in the courthouse. And from what I've heard from Meg Rossler, who covered the trial for us, it seems like that was pretty similar to how he was then as well.
Yeah, wow. And I know we've had so much continuing coverage on this too. Corinne, is there anything else that we should, any new details from today or anything else that you picked up from being in the courtroom today that our audience should know more about?
No, I don't believe so. Everything was pretty much covered by the time that sentencing came around today. I will say, just a quote from Judge Gold today, she said, "Mr. Lewis, I've been on the bench for almost 35 years. You are one of the worst of the worst." And she's covered a lot of pretty heinous crimes here in Allen County. So for her to say that is pretty impactful.
Yes, absolutely. And Perla Nieto was so loved, and you can just see from the community's reaction too, from ever since 2023, that this has just really hit Waynedale and our surrounding areas so hard. So, wow, that's quite a statement. Corinne, thank you so much. We've had continuing coverage on this already, so you can always check out our website, 21alivenews.com. But this is just the latest. Again, Jamar Lewis was sentenced today. Corinne has been inside of the courtroom all morning. They gave uh, victim impact statements, as well as he found out, a little bit more about his sentencing today. He'll be spending 65 years behind bars. Corinne, thank you so much for joining us here live from the courthouse. And you guys will have more coverage for you. You can always see or visit our website, 21alivenews.com, for more of that. And we're back on air at noon. Thank you so much. Have a great day.